All right, John, we are back once again with another top 10. And this time we've got a double feature as we're talking about the top 10 2000s era PC games. So from 2000 to 2009. And as a special bonus, because a lot of people were talking about it and I didn't even consider it, to be honest, Flash games, the top 10 Flash games of, well, all time, really, because I'm not breaking these down into eras. It's just all Flash. And that actually lasted for quite a while. I don't think Flash died until 2016, 2017. It was pretty late.
Very late, yeah. My problem with Flash games is I played a bunch of them growing up. I was on like Miniclip and Newgrounds, but for the life of me, I can barely remember their titles, which is a huge shame because there were some great ones out there. But I was looking I didn't look too closely, but I saw some of the replies to your post, and people came just through the floodgates with mentions of these things. So I'm gonna see if my memory's jogged by any of these ones.
Yeah. Just for reference sake, we're just going to start for the Flash games, and we're not going to do the whole guessing game for this because the main focus is the PC games. I don't think John or I are especially equipped to talk about all of these in any real.
Not at all. Very,
Yeah.
very incompetent at this one.
I played a little bit in college, the Newgrounds era, and wow, till December 31st, 2020, Flash lasted. That's a lot longer than I thought. And I'm aware of some of these, and some of them also just how I had to categorize them was rough. But let's put it this way: there were 220 votes for the Flash games. 478 different games. That's how varied this all is, just because people are just that into like they had their Flash games that they found, and that was it. And some of them are compilations or like continuations. Like it was so like here's one Flash game. Week later, here's the sequel to my Flash game. It was very much felt like that at the time. What Flash games do you remember, John? And we'll start there, and then I'll actually go into the top 10.
It's really hard to remember their names. I remember Quap, which is a game where someone couldn't move their limbs, and you had to sort of make them move by dragging their arms and legs. What else do I remember? There's a lot more I played. There's like lots of tank rip-offs, like We Played Tank or Combat for Atari. Lots of games like that. I remember there was like a Zelda Flash game I played a bunch where it had something to do with McDonald's. It was like farming cows as Link. It was Ocarina or something. I don't remember the name. Maybe someone does. Happy Wheels, yeah, as Moobury Muffin says. Happy Wheels, I remember a lot. I played Habbo Hotel a lot. Does that count as a Flash game? I guess.
I don't know. Well, that's the thing. We had like the indie Flash games almost with the guys making stuff for Newgrounds, but then there were also, I didn't even consider this, the stuff for kids, like on just various like, here's this channel's website. Here's some Flash games based on those shows that they had. It was super versatile in that way, and nice, easy content, I guess. Not easy, but extra content that kids could get into and just spend a lot of time with.
Right. There was a lot of fan games in there too. Like Super Smash Flash was a really big one. It was basically that 2D Smash we never had, and then it took the roster to wild places like with Goku, Sonic at the time, who wasn't in Smash, and all these other weird characters. But that was something that was played a lot when the teacher wasn't looking in my IT classes.
Love it. Yeah. All right. Let's go ahead and get through our top 10 Flash games real quick. And talk about these two. So at number 10, Happy Wheels with 168 points. Happy Wheels is just I believe it got actually there was a 3D version released later. Which had same basic concept just in 3D, but basically going through a 2D obstacle with various characters, and it's gonna slice and dice them. Like it's one of those things where it's kind of brutal in retrospect. Some of these definitely question the lines of good taste.
Oh yeah. I mean, games like Meat Boy were kind of born out of Flash games, and then they became a full-on, console game.
That's true. Also, very important though. Number 9 with 181 points, Alien Hominid.
Oh,
And this, yeah, I remember playing this as a kid. Well,
mm,
not as a kid, in college, and it was brutal then, but it was one of those that broke out to the point that they got a GameCube release, and then they're the ones who went on to make Castle Crashers and Battle Block Theater and
right.
so forth. Like they really did expand beyond that point.
Yeah, you see a lot of pretty prominent indies and modern talent were born out of this era. SFB Games, who did Snipper Clips and Crow Country, they did like flash animations for ages, just about like Nintendo games. And now they've worked with Nintendo after like that parody stuff.
Amazing. But how it's really cool when you can see that happen. But speaking of Nintendo, with 191 points at number 8, Super Smash Flash.
I really thought that would be a lot higher. But yeah, I mean that was a really cool one. And I think it like as someone earlier said in live audience, it got them into Smash. It was kind of like a gateway
Oh,
to people who didn't own Nintendo consoles to kind of trying this stuff.
I guess that's a good point. It's a nice way to do it. I don't remember playing Smash Flash that often or at all. There's so much variety that it was hard to really come across everything. And a lot of times with Newgrounds, I was watching more so the animations than the playing the
Sure.
games because I was definitely have that opinion. It was like, well, I have a console right over there. I'm gonna play that.
Yeah, yeah.
But I get it. Um, but let's go ahead and move on to number 7 with 217 points, The Impossible Quiz.
Do I know
And
this?
I don't remember this one to be honest. It's not sticking out to me. Um, and it's just it looks like really crude flash art with just I don't even know. It's I don't know exactly what it is, but apparently it was just a thing. It's British.
Oh,
There we go.
yeah. I don't think I remember this one.
Yeah, it looks like it's one of those. It is supposed to be impossible to figure out. I see here, just looking at it a little bit of compared to a quiz version of Getting Over It with Bennett Foddy or like Unfair Mario.
Hmm. In live audience, very out of the box thinking. You had to sometimes leave the tab, leave the flash box, type the answer. I kind of like that, like some fourth
Yeah,
wall breaking stuff.
there's definitely been some games that have really pulled that off, and it's it definitely blows the mind when you can figure out that sort of stuff. But
Mm.
it's definitely I can understand why it sticks out. I just missed it completely myself. But at number 6, with 242 points, Line Rider.
Line Rider.
And
Can you explain this? I can't remember the title at all.
I I feel like oh gosh. I think what it is you drew lines and then
Mm.
you had this little guy on a like a sled follow those lines and you had to get him from point A to point B.
Yeah, I do remember Line Rider. Yeah. I remember quite a few people were playing. Again, this is another school one that we played when teachers weren't looking. You just look around the room and there's like 6 people playing this. Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those things I don't recognize immediately, but as soon as I see any type of um uh screens from it, I think, oh yeah,
Mm.
that. Um, all right. Next up is number 5 with 262 points, The Fancy Pants Adventures.
That sounds extremely familiar. Can't place it though, and that's going to be the case with all of these apparently.
It looked like one of those Newground mascots that are just there.
Mm.
They were just huge because I see some screens here where like there was like a Smash Brothers version of Newgrounds characters. So I got like him fighting like the alien from Alien Hominid, and it's just like almost like a stick figure with a pencil wearing orange pants.
Mm. People are saying this got turned into a PSN and XBLA game, so that's
Oh,
pretty cool.
that is pretty cool. Um, apparently, even as recent as 2024, there was the Fancy Pants Adventures the Classic Pack,
Yeah.
um, which I okay. It's amazing how some of these are still getting out. Apparently, it was all about parkour gameplay in terms of that. So
Cool.
I don't know. That being said, let's go ahead and move on to number 4. With 265 points, only beat Fancy Pants by 3. The Henry Stickmin collection.
I'm blanking again, Derek. I have
So
no idea.
I've never played this myself, but I do know this is the precursor of the for the team who made Among Us. Among Us.
Oh,
Yeah,
I don't know their history at all.
yeah.
To me, they
Their
just came
first
out of
big
nowhere with
breakout
Among
hit
Us.
was Henry Stickmin,
Ah,
and they now have all these collected and available on Steam. But that big airship level, if you remember that, that's from Henry Stickmin.
oh, interesting. Okay.
That's the only reason I know this. But yeah, apparently just various adventures that you had to just do, and apparently a lot of um, multiple choice things that affect how it all plays out. So pretty replayable in that way.
There's a Phoenix Wright trial and Henry Stigman? What do you mean?
I guess I mean is like a Phoenix Wright style trial. I don't
Or
know.
is Phoenix Wright in Henry Stigman?
I
I don't
don't
know.
think so. It's all stick figures, but
Yeah.
maybe he was.
Yes.
I don't know.
I don't know what yes means.
Oh gosh. Um. So
Parody. Okay. Yeah.
parody. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and move on to number 3 with 318 points. And you want to know why Super Smash Flash was not super high on the list? It's because Super Smash Flash 2 was
Okay.
here.
Yeah, makes sense.
So
As far as I remember, these are very similar, just like a big roster overhaul. Is there
that
more
made
to it? I can't
sense.
quite remember.
I don't know. The thing is, it's funny how much of a gap I have when it comes to a lot of this. I had to look up a lot of these to confirm they even existed. Um, just to make sure I wasn't going nuts. Although I gotta say, looking at a screenshot of Smash Flash 2, those graphics are surprisingly good.
Oh yeah. Totally.
Like pretty great rips and so forth. And looking at through the list of playable characters, they got something right. They made Bandana D playable, and the Black Mage
They
from
made
Final
everyone
Fantasy.
playable though.
They did. Um, so sure, why not? Oh god, but yeah, it's just pick a video game or anime character, they were in it. Really what it comes
They
down
had
to.
to ban the Light Yagami assist trophy.
Oh no, oh,
Does he
no.
just write people's names down and then they lose a stock?
Is it an insta kill thing? I have no idea. All right, number 2, this one I kind of expected. With 375 points, Club Penguin.
Of course.
I never touched it, but this was huge for kids.
Yeah, I never grew up with this one either. But I see it all the time. I see references,
Mm.
memes. Had its own line of official like DS games, Wii games. Yeah, this was everywhere.
Yeah, it was quite huge, and it was just all about it. But I was old. I was too old for it. Certainly beyond my years. There's definitely a generation behind me
Mm.
that did play it. And yeah, I was like, yeah, that tracks. That tracks. But at number 1 with 386 points, Battle for Dream Island again 5B.
I don't know what that is.
I don't know what it is. It seems like it's a bunch of like here's anthropomorphized food items doing things. I
That beat
don't,
Club Penguin?
and it beat Club Penguin, yes.
No one in live audience knows what that is.
I only am vaguely aware of this because there's a series of um shorts or just releases on YouTube that are it's basically Survivor with just things, and I didn't think it was a
Ooh.
whoops. Okay, it looked like it didn't look like it was a game. It's just like a series, but no, apparently it is a game that people just talked about, and yeah, had 33 playable levels, and I'm trying to see what exactly you did. I don't. They're trying to escape. I don't know. Just trying to escape. They begin as a book and move through 53 levels to try to get out. I don't know. It makes
Yeah.
no sense to me.
Well,
But there
we're
it is.
investigating in live audience right now. We suspect foul play. Is this another Pikmin situation where a subreddit found it?
I have no idea. I
Mm,
don't think anybody manipulated this that much, as far as I can tell. But because it's not like it like ran away with things, it just barely beat out Club Penguin. But it's it's funny that people were like, I've never heard of this, and yet it got number one.
yeah.
I
Well, those are our Flash games.
Yep, those are our top 10 Flash games. Um, real quick, I'm gonna just blow through the since we typically do have like a top 50. Here's the rest. At number 11, Super Mario 63. Number 12, Bloons TD or Tower Defense 5. Number 13, Bloons Tower Defense. 14, tied at 14, Ultimate Flash Sonic and Super Mario Brothers crossover, which I do remember. Actually
Mm.
covered that when I was at the old place. 16, Fireboy and Water Girl in the Forest Temple. 17, Raft Wars. 18, Run 3. 19, Peasant's Quest. 20, Neopets. Expected that to be higher, to be honest.
Yeah, that was a massive, massive one.
Yeah, that was a huge one. Tied at 21, Matanui online game and Stinko Man 20 XD6. That's a Homestar Runner game. 23, Bloons TD 3. There's a lot of Bloons TD games. 24, the original Meat Boy. At 25, Age of War. 26, Interactive Buddy. 27, Pop Tropica. 28, Agar EO. 20, also at 28, Papa's Pizzeria. At 30, Bloons TD4. 31, tied at 31, Fancy Pants World 2 and Run 2. At 33, The Binding of Isaac, which I didn't realize it was a Flash game initially.
I didn't realize that either. No, I knew the developer came from Flash Roots, but no, I didn't know Isaac came from there.
Yeah, and that was also, forgive me, tied at 31 with Run 2.
Mm.
Or no, excuse me, tied at 33 with Territory War. Excuse me. 35, I'm Judging You All, Midna Hentai Game.
Oh no.
Oh no, indeed. I am judging you all. 36, Powder Game. 37, Quap. 38, The World's Hardest Game. 39, This Is the Only Level. 40, Webkins. 41, Duck Life. 42, Stick RPG. 40, also tied at 42, Adventure Quest. 44, Achievement Unlocked. 45, Robot Unicorn Attack. That was a Cartoon Network game. 46, Skywire. Tied at 47, Dragon Fable and Motherload. And then three-way tie for 49, Super Mario Flash, Stick War, and Duck Life 4.
Man. So how many people voted for that Midna game?
It got 56 points.
Which is a substantial amount. It means
Which
at least
technically it missed the top 10 by 112 points.
Yeah. That's quite a few people that voted for that.
Yes, indeed. So yeah, there's your Flash games. You degenerates. But yeah, that's all done and out of the way. Let's get to the main event here with our 2000s era PC games. So games that released between 2000 and 2009. We got a total of 269 votes covering 442 different games. So let's see, John, what made it? Well, what's your experience? Because for me, this is sort of when I really started to play PC games a bit more. I played a little bit towards the end of the 90s, but this is when I got my own PC for college. And so I was able to play a lot more of these types of games.
I am the exact same. 2007 is when I built my first PC. And it was quite a modest one. It played Crisis at like very low settings. And I got not just into modern stuff, but just the back catalog of classic PC games. So I feel like I played a lot of stuff in this era, and it's going to be a hard one to guess because it encompasses two
So much.
generations. Yeah,
Mm.
kind of three. It's the end of the PlayStation era, the beginning of the PS2 era, the 360 era. It's all of that, plus just very classic PC games. So I don't know what to expect here, but it's also a time where a lot of console ports weren't very good. In
Mm.
the early 2000s, especially, a lot of them just got butchered. Like Resident Evil 4 in particular had like a dreadful PC version because it was based off the PS2 one, and then they didn't give it controller support.
Oh no.
There's lots of weird little things about it.
Controller support seemed to be a rarity
Yeah, it was a
for a lot of
rarity. Yeah, yeah.
PC games
Nowadays, you
early
just plug
on.
a controller in and it's fine. Back in the day, you either it didn't work at all, or you had to then rebind every single key to the controller, and it wouldn't just work
Oh.
automatically like it does now.
Thank God that we've improved that.
Yeah.
I think it's another reason I stay. I very specifically only chose PC games, like the ones that really stood out the most on those. But I still didn't play it a ton. I was just so much more of a console player.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, what say we actually get to this top 10, John?
Let's do it. Okay.
All right, what is number 10?
I'm gonna begin with a banger game: Plants vs Zombies.
Plants vs Zombies. Classic choice. Definitely blew up around that time.
Mm.
But at number 10, it is not Plants vs. Zombies. Instead, with 228 points, Left for Dead 2.
Oh, all right. I have a feeling Valve is going to dominate this, especially because the orange box is more of a bundle than it is a collection on PC. So Left 4 Dead's not in there anyway. But I played so much Left 4 Dead. I played the first one a bunch on 360, and then I jumped to PC with the second one. And my friends and I spent just a lot of our evenings just playing this together. We played the hell out of just the default maps, but then we got into the more the community aspect of it and playing custom maps with like custom models and everything. And it's just endless. The base game's pretty endless as it is, but there's just an endless amount of community stuff that just keeps us going forever. And I remember at the time, people were a bit upset about this one because Valve games usually last like forever. But
Mm.
Left 4 Dead and Left 4 Dead 2 had like a 2 year gap between them. It wasn't very long. And then in comes basically an expansion as a sequel. But I think it did a great job basically just replacing the original and just making a bigger Left 4 Dead.
Yeah, I basically once this one came out, you didn't really hear about Left 4 Dead 1 too much. It just sort of took over. And it's one of those games I missed out on myself. I just didn't have a group to play with for whatever reason. But I did watch playthroughs online, and watching people play this was just, it seemed like so fun and hilarious just to deal with the constant influx of zombies and all the variants and actually needing to help each other and like trying to survive and all the different ways that um you get to the boat or get to the escape sequence, and sometimes you just have to screw your friends over in order to just get out there and get out of
Yeah.
there, and it's it just seems fun.
Yeah, it changes every time too. Depending on your performance, it might spawn more zombies or less zombies. There might be a witch or a boomer. They just come out of nowhere, and it makes every game feel a little bit unpredictable and distinct. Um, yeah, I really wish that this would come to modern consoles too, because it was on 360 where it was a pretty big game. But back then, I remember Microsoft made it so you had to buy the DLC. It's like a rule of theirs. Whereas on
Oh.
Steam, it was free, which just kind of made it the logical place to go because it was just cheaper. More people were playing there. You get all the custom stuff. It was a very different game on PC to what 360
Mhm.
offered.
Oh, for sure. uh it is kind of amazing that all these classic Valve games have gotten, like, we got the Portal collection, but it would be nice to see Left 4 Dead get a bit of a comeback with a
It would.
remaster or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's one of those that's, there's been, like, leaks of a sequel or a prototype for a sequel. Nothing's ever come to surface, though. As often it is with Valve, there's a lot of, prototyping and, working behind the scenes, but I don't think anything Left 4 Dead's gonna happen for a while, but it stood the test of time, though. This came out, like, what? 15 years ago now, 16 years ago, 17 years ago, and people are still playing it today. It's very much a Team Fortress, a Half-Life.
Mhm.
Just one of those classic Valve IP.
Just sticks around, and I mean, I think the zombie hordes are, games are still emulating it.
Yeah, yeah, that's true.
That's your idea.
And being
So,
able to play as them too, because you can just join
oh
someone's game and
yeah,
take the role of a special infected and try and play against them. So you can have like a competitive aspect to what's usually a co-op campaign, and that's rad.
yeah, very cool. As you said, it's hard not to expect Valve to dominate
Mhm.
because
Yeah,
they were just on fire this decade. Um, but
and
let's
yeah,
go ahead
and
and
then they
move
took a
on.
big nap for
Yeah,
the
and
next
they take a
decade.
very big depth. It's like, oh, we have Steam that just makes us all the money. We're good. Let's go ahead and move on to number 9, which beat out Left 4 Dead 2 by 8 points. It was close.
Hmm. Trying to remember exactly what came out in the 2000s and what was barely the 2000s. So Age of Empire 2, that was it 2000?
Oh boy,
I
well,
feel
me
like
struggling to say whether that's probably a clue.
let me fact check this real quick. It's probably wrong anyway. No, it was
It was in the
maybe.
90s. Age of Empires 2 was in the 90s.
Okay. Yeah, I think we had that last time, didn't we? All right.
Yes.
In that case, I'm gonna go for something that might be a bit higher because it is like one of the most classic PC games out there. But Diablo 2.
Okay. Diablo 2, definitely a classic. My friends definitely talked about all that one. But instead, we're going to go with number 9 is something else my friends like to talk about, and I never got to try. Deus Ex.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I love Deus Ex. There's a console port of this as well on PS2, and it's decent. But the PC
Mhm,
version is so freeing. This is coming off of like Metal Gear, which is
mhm.
very linear. Deus Ex just sort of lets you do things in with more freedom. You get all these different tools to work with. It feels like a game from a different era in that time. Um, and I think it's still really impressive compared to what modern Deus Ex does, because that upped the production values and made things look prettier. But I think that there's a lot more freedom and diversity in the original Deus Ex, and I'd love to see this one come back because I feel like a lot of people haven't played it. Who were born after this.
I think there's a lot to enjoy there. It's in its own way, it's sort of a proto cyberpunk.
Yeah, yeah,
Very
very
much
much.
taking those aesthetics and whatnot. Because once again, I've never played it, but it is freeing it that you can put your points in. However, do you want to be a hacker and go through there? Do you want to do stealth? Do you want to do, outright combat? You could do all that. And I'm blanking on his name, but the creator of this would go on to do Epic
Oh,
Mickey.
Warren Spector.
Warren Spector. That's it. That's it. Was very fortunate to have an interview with him for Epic Mickey, and he's super nice guy. But yeah, I had friends that just love talking about this game, and I watched them play a little bit, but I never got the chance to really try it out myself. Again, I was so console focused that I missed a lot of uh not this is still a big PC game, so it's like I just missed some PC games. I wasn't inclined towards what I thought was a first person shooter.
Mm. The most of this list should be on a wish list for Switch 2 games. Like just bring
Mhm.
Deus Ex to the original Deus Ex to Switch 2 with that mouse, and I think that would be wonderful.
Oh, that'd be pretty cool. I like that idea. So yeah, I think it's even though I haven't really played it, I think it's well deserved. I think this is a classic, and yeah, I good on you.
Mm.
All right, let's go ahead and move on to number 8. John, what is our number 8 2000 era PC game of all time, beating out Deus Ex by 20 points?
I feel like I'm going to be very off with most of this, but I'm going to
There's a
say
lot of choices.
there's a lot of choice. Yeah, I'm going to say Crisis though.
Crisis. All right. Uh, it is not Crisis.
Mm.
Instead, at number 8, Minecraft Classic.
Okay, so we're not counting the Bedrock version. We're counting just regular Java Minecraft.
This is the version of Minecraft that came out in 2009. It
Mhm.
barely hit the line. It was the early version. I distinctly remember a friend playing this version around this time. It was like I saw him messing around with these like weird pixel block things. I'm like, what are you playing? He's like, oh, it's something
Mm.
called Minecraft. I've been really digging it and been building all this stuff. I was having a lot of fun with it. It's just yeah, it just he was just addicted to it. And I guess a lot of other people had that experience because you had I don't think Minecraft got out of its early version until 2011. So that's why it's
Mm.
listed as Minecraft Classic, because this is a very different version from what came later.
Yeah, this is a big gap for me. I've tried Minecraft a few times. I remember going around a friend's house playing on 360, and it was four of us just playing split screen together. They all knew what they were doing, and I was just jumping around a blocky world, putting blocks down. I didn't get it. I didn't grow up with it, so I want to give Minecraft a go and properly understand it. Because I love Minecraft likes. I love Dragon Quest Builders, but for some
Mhm.
reason you throw me in a world of Minecraft and say do what you want, and I'm like I don't know what to do. So
I that's why I like Dragon Quest Builders, because it gives me a little
yeah,
bit like do this, cool, thanks, I will do that,
yeah,
and then it's like gives you like the building blocks to go beyond that. But even back then, I remember my friend talking about like, oh, I built this train system to do this or built whatever. It didn't seem to be much about the survival aspect. He seemed to mostly go into God mode so he can just build whatever, and he
mm,
had that kind of mind for it. So, yeah, it's he definitely dug it. He's playing for a while. I was like heard about it, and all of a sudden it just started blowing up. It's
yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of the
Um,
biggest games ever. Understandable. I'm kind of surprised it's this low, to be honest.
I think it's because it's the original version. I think most
Yeah.
people have affinity for like next era. Next time we come back to PC, then Minecraft. If that's not number one, I'll be shocked.
Yeah, totally.
So we'll see what happens there. But yeah, Minecraft Classic. Lacks of survival, all about that building. So
Mm.
there you go. Let's see what number 7 is, John, beating out Minecraft Classic by 8 points.
All right. But Baldur's Gate was big then, not as big as it is now. So I don't know if it's a waste of a spot to say Baldur's Gate 2. I'm going to say it anyway because it was huge,
Mhm.
but I don't think it didn't quite get the mainstream the same way 3 did though.
All right, so you're going with Baldur's Gate 2. All right. Um, you guessed correctly.
Oh.
However, not this time.
Oh.
Back when we were guessing for number 10, it's Plants versus Zombies. I just
Oh,
wanted to
yeah.
sort of
Yeah, I
say
love Plants vs. Zombies.
it. Yeah. Plants versus Zombies at number 7. Sorry, I phrased that so confusingly.
No, no, it's all good. Yeah, I love this game. Probably my favorite PopCap game. Just so simple. You know, you start off with nothing, you get those suns, you slowly put more down. It's just so simple but addictive. And then when you finally like progress further and get the more complex stuff, you're just juggling a bunch of different things. There's nothing quite like it. And this recently got rated for Switch
Oh,
like a few months ago now. It's like Plants vs Zombies something edition. So this has to show up at some point. And again, that's going to be a fantastic Switch 2 game with the
oh
mouse.
yeah. Get the mouse mode. I This is actually one I have played. But not on PC. I didn't play it until it was on mobile.
Mm.
And I had a job where I worked second shift, so I was just out late. And by the time 11 o'clock rolls around, there's nothing going on. So I just play Plants vs Zombies. I was very
there's
productive at work.
there's a pretty good DSi version, like low frame rate, but it fit the DS pretty well. Man, yeah, I really want this to come back. I guess in a few months it will. But yeah, I think it's so simple, but it is one of the best PC games, just period.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not one for tower defense games. It's just a genre that's never fully clicked with me. But Plants vs Zombies, that clicked. There's always not one of a genre that might just really catch your attention. And Plants vs Zombies definitely was it.
Yeah. It's always just been this one for me, though. I've never checked out the 3D hero shooter one. Never
No.
checked out Plants vs. Zombies 2. I'm just happy with the first one. And happy to pretend that's the only one.
Yeah. It fulfills that itch,
Yeah.
and it's tough to go beyond that because it's just so simple and effective.
Yeah.
But yeah, just pure classic. Don't know how they came up with the idea, but you got cute zombies, you got these fun, cute plants, figuring out which ones are best for where you're at. It's just a good time. Just a
Mm,
really good time. Hope I mean, and yeah, as you said, Switch 2 version with mouse mode. Yeah, that'll hit.
100%.
So all right. Let's move on to number 6, which beat out Plants vs. Zombies by 1 point.
Whoa, okay.
It was close.
How valvey should I get here? Because
Hmm.
I don't think the orange box is one game on this. I'm pretty sure we're going to have Half-Life 2, Portal, Team Fortress 2, which also leaves Counter-Strike and Counter-Strike Source. um, I'm going to say Counter-Strike. Oh, wait. Was the original Counter-Strike in the year 2000 or was it barely before that?
I think it was in 2000.
Okay. Yeah,
So
vanilla Counter-Strike in that case.
okay, vanilla Counter-Strike. My friends were addicted to that game.
Mm.
However, it's not number 6. Instead, they were addicted to a different game, Diablo 2.
Yeah, we said this one earlier. Man, like the first Diablo, it's at the foundation, but you don't really hear people talk about it these days. But Diablo 2, that was just this cultural phenomenon. And I think arguably it's still the best one. It's just so
Mhm.
iconic. It looks iconic. Like you look at any screenshot and you can identify that as Diablo 2. The UI is just ingrained in your mind. Yeah, what is there to say? It's a classic.
I I remember my friends playing this so much and finally getting me to try it out myself. But by the time I played it, there was like a ton of mods to it. So they had this way of like increasing the not not so much the graphics, but the fact that your viewing angle. So you
Mm,
had this like your character was super small, but you could see super wide out because of uh the way they scaled everything. And it was like, okay, this is interesting. Like I what I played, I enjoyed, but I didn't fully get into Diablo until 3, even though I think
mm,
I do recognize 2 as being the better one. 3 had a lot of issues,
yeah.
but I there is just something classic about just clicking, using those abilities, taking them out when you can. It just and having that you get that loot, you see what that new loot is, equip it, get yourself get even better. And they I don't know. They sort of found the perfect rotation there, and they allowed you to just sort of go rather than having to return to a home base in that one. That was the other big
Mm.
thing was there was a lot more variety in locales.
Yeah, it's just this great continuous feedback loop. And it's reminded me that Blizzard were pretty big in this era beyond Diablo. So we've got Valve and World of Warcraft to work with here, which makes it
Mhm.
even harder because that actually escaped my mind for a moment.
Yeah, yeah, it's definitely tough. This is definitely a big era for Blizzard. But honestly, I'm surprised. I'm kind of surprised they never made a Diablo MMO.
Yeah. I guess World of Warcraft just took their MMO point. Because they could, they very well could. But I think they like having their different kind of scopes with their games. Like Overwatch is their
Mhm,
sort of smaller scope shooter. Diablo's more of a community thing, and then World of Warcraft's just the big world.
mhm. Yeah. Diablo 2 at number 6. So we've reached our top 5 2000s era PC games. I feel like people are going to have opinions about Diablo 2 not making that top 5, but hey, it made the top 10. That's the important part. But instead, it got beat out by for number 5 by 10 points. A lot of these are very close.
Hmm. I don't know. I feel like I'm double guessing about the orange box being one game or not. Because there's three things I'm thinking of right now, and that's World of Warcraft, The Sims 2, and then just Valve in general. Um, I'm gonna say World of Warcraft here.
All right, World of Warcraft. At number 5, it is not World of Warcraft. Instead, they got a dark horse here. Cave Story.
Cave Story. Cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
And Indy made it above Diablo 2.
Wow. I love Cave Story, man. I've played basically every version of this game, and I think this probably was like the first indie game I played, and it felt so different at that time. Because in this era, we're getting towards scopes getting bigger, but as visuals evolved, we also saw scopes getting smaller. Like
Mhm.
JRPGs no longer really had towns and all that, and Cave Story just came along and made a very classic feeling game, and it felt cool to be with sprites again in a time where we've moved past them. Uh, but I think it still holds up really well, even when you consider that's a standard now.
Mhm.
You've just got this such a charming game with a really good story and one that begs for replayability with all those different paths you can take. And they can be obscure, they can be a bit cryptic. You can cheat
Very.
yourself out of it if you just make one wrong move. But it felt good to be in the know about all this, though.
Yeah, I can see the community aspect of figuring out how to do a lot of this stuff, and then you have that final challenge to get the true ending that is brutal,
Mm.
in what you have to do. Um, man, it's one of those games where, well, first of all, it is developed by a single person, which all definitely made the rounds. Everybody was talking about this, and
Yeah,
eventually
and
was
it was
getting help to get
free. It was free for a while
port.
too.
Yeah,
Nicholas then published it as Cave Story Plus for a paid price, but the original game, a one-man thing, was non-profit.
yeah, and just got those. I don't know if he sold the rights or they bought the rights or how exactly that all works, but it started popping up everywhere because I remember it being a pretty big deal when it came to WiiWare.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, it's a big deal on WiiWare. Pretty big deal on 3DS as well. There was a fully 3D remake. There was just also a standard pixel 3D version. The Switch version's great too. Switch version has like co-op and all that.
oh yeah,
Yeah, yeah. I love this. This is one of my favorite indie games. I know you had some mixed opinions when you came to doing your search action episode on it. Uh,
yeah, because I was coming at it as, is it a Metroidvania? And it really isn't, but it has the vibe of a Metroidvania. I
mm,
guess is the best way to put it, but it isn't. It really isn't one. That being said, the gameplay concepts like of upgrading your guns and making sure to keep those guns upgraded, uh, just try not to get hit as much as possible. The story starting out like looking like it's really going to be cute and cuddly, and then all of a sudden like, oh no, we're killing these characters.
yeah, we're going to hell now.
Oh yeah, it's
I also
brutal.
love, the upgrade aspect. It's great because, like you actually were saying, it sort of incentivizes you to play carefully and not get hit. But then you also get those cool movement abilities, like with the machine gun. If you shoot down, like you
Yeah.
sort of fly up. So it benefits you in platforming as well to play kind of carefully, which makes speedruns like fascinating to watch because people
Mhm.
just do these pixel perfect moves without getting hit, and they do this crazy stuff.
Oh, I'm sure the speedrunning community is nuts with this game. It gets tough. There are some really tough bosses in here, but there's also just, I don't know, some very memorable characters. So
Yeah.
I think that's how really what's helped it come just stand the test of time.
Amazing soundtrack too. Like, I
Oh
think
yeah.
one of the best video game soundtracks I've ever heard, I'd say.
Yeah, it's definitely up there. I mean, I think for me, when I think indie game, this is probably the first one that comes to mind. It is just like it feels like the first indie game, even though it isn't. It
Y
isn't. But it feels like the first one. It's like when I started taking notice of indie games personally.
Yeah. Without Cave Story, we probably wouldn't have that big, like, XBLA push, even though this wasn't on XBLA, but, like,
Which is funny to
things
think
like Meat
about.
Boy probably wouldn't have happened so easily if it weren't for Cave Story.
Right. But yeah, that is our number 5 PC game of all time. Huge win for that, I'd say. But the options are starting to get pretty slim here, John. So, what is our number 4 PC game of the 2000s of all time? It's just a weird thing to
Hmm.
say. Beat out Cave Story by 33 points.
I feel like the orange box must be one game because there's not enough room for Half-Life 2, Portal, Team Fortress, Counter-Strike, Sims, and World of Warcraft in there, and I don't think any of them would have missed it. So I am gonna say The Sims 2 in this spot.
All right. At number 4, The Sims 2.
Okay. Yeah.
Good job. I mean,
This
this is a hard one to guess for, so congrats.
for some people, this is the PC game. My sister, she used like the family laptop. Back in the day, like when we all didn't have our own devices and like you shared it with your family. She just used it for The Sims and nothing else. Just played it constantly, and we all shared it with our own like save files. But it was something that kind of it was almost like a Wii kind of thing before the Wii, where
Mhm.
people it didn't matter if they played games or not. People would play The Sims. Non-gamers would play it. Just regular people who have a PC would play it. It's just very accessible and very fun to make, people in real life, put them in a pool, take the ladder away, kill them. Nothing more fun.
Set 'em on fire.
Yeah.
I my friends that played Sims 2 definitely used it as a that for that method.
Mm.
That's mainly how I knew Sims 2. I didn't really life sim games have never been my thing. I just never got into them whatsoever. But it's cool to see how creative somebody can get because you get those sheets and you can make the home of your dreams, and that's what you're making. It's just you want to make a dollhouse. They just want to buy everything and like what kind of crazy house I can come up with, or I'm going to create just abominations to torture my Sims with. Let's
Yeah.
see how long they can survive. Or you had the people that played it legit and just saw how the lives of their Sims played out. I think that versatility certainly helped out quite a bit.
I was one of those players that made a new house, typed in Rosebud, which gave you like infinite money, and then just built whatever I wanted. I didn't really stick with the same Sims for very long. I like just making new houses, and I like the simplicity of The Sims One and The Sims Two. I think it's cool just to have, just simple building tools. And then when you're living with your Sims, you're sort of taking care of them, taking them on jobs, earning money. Later Sims games like 3 and 4 make it more about, tying the Sims into a world and letting them go around town. That stuff's cool, but I just like the basics. And The Sims 2 is
Mhm.
probably my favorite one still.
Yeah, The Sims 2 had a lot of expansions as
Oh,
well.
yeah, yeah.
Like it was stuff with content. It was just all the stuff that could be in there. And I'm trying to see like here we go. Got add expansions. Yeah, we got, oh my God, we got university, nightlife, open for business, pets, seasons, bon voyage, free time, apartment life. And then you could just get packs that are just with stuff. Here's more stuff that you can build with. And it's, uh, boy, they took advantage of
Oh,
all
yeah.
these. Uh, you want stuff? There you go. I think some people wanted Animal Crossing, New Horizons to be like that. It's like, give us more stuff.
Yeah, I mean, The Sims 4 came out like what 10 years ago? More than that? Was it more than 10 years ago? It was a while ago at this point, and EA is still relying on that. So
Mhm.
if people want the Animal Crossing team to stay on that game for 10 years, I think that's the route they'd have to take. Just stick with it and make nothing else.
Pretty much, pretty much. But yeah, just not a game I played. It's just not my type of game, but I get it. I get it. So, and honestly, I'd be shocked if it wasn't on here. But yeah, let's go ahead and move on to our top 3 games of all time for the 2000s era PC.
Okay.
John, I feel like it's going to get tough for you because there's a bit of a jump from 4 to 3. Number 3 beat out Sims 2 by 100 and 43 points, somewhere around there.
Hmm. I don't know if I'm missing something obvious. Because my mind is just saying Orange Box, Counter Strike, World of Warcraft. And I
Mhm.
feel like there's a big game in there that it could literally be any game. It could be any multi-platform 360 or PS2 game. I'm gonna say that this is World of Warcraft.
Okay. Number 3 is going to answer a question for you, John, because
Okay.
at number 3 is Team Fortress 2.
Oh,
So
so
there's no orange box.
okay, that makes it incredibly hard then, because that means
Right?
either Half-Life 2, Portal, or World of Warcraft missed the list.
Yep.
All right. Well, let's focus on Team Fortress 2.
Yeah. Yep.
Uh,
Let's do it.
monumental game. Without this, we wouldn't have free-to-play microtransaction games. Everyone give it a round of applause. But when this
Oh,
came out,
good.
it was a premium game. It came out
Mhm.
around the same time as Half-Life 2, and I thought it was so cool how it looked. Because you have Half-Life 2, which is quite a grounded looking game, and that same engine gave you this beautiful cell shaded game.
Yeah.
And you can play around with that engine and make things that look like the shorts they make because they were all done in engine. It was just beautiful animation, beautiful look, and then it's what we call now as hero shooter. Like
Mhm.
Overwatch came out, that was a hero shooter. Team Fortress 2 did that years beforehand, basically achieved the exact same thing, um, and it's still played today. So there's so many things you can attribute to this, whether it's the birth of the hero shooter, the birth of freemium games, and whatever else. But both good and bad, this is absolutely a classic.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. It's another one of those games I just missed out on. Just I did not play those online shooters a ton. But my God, I loved the way it looked because I remember seeing the original Team Fortress. I'm like, ugh, it's just like so basic looking.
Yeah.
But that style for Team Fortress 2 sold it so much. And then the animations. I did not play the game, but I was there for the animations.
Mm.
I
Yeah. There's so much depth to all the characters. I love playing as spy because you can disguise yourself as anyone else and then go around backstabbing, which means you suspect everybody. Anyone who looks like they're on your team, you don't trust them. So if you're playing as heavy, like just do like a little spray of your Gatling gun at them. If they bleed, they're clearly not on your team. But I love how that one character changes the dynamic of the entire game because now you're always watching your back because that one person could be against you, even though it's a team game. And I think that just speaks for the entire game. There's so many layers of strategy tied to each character you can choose that change everything.
Mhm. Yeah, and I mean, a lot of those shorts also introduced like new gameplay elements.
Hmm.
Like because I remember the medic one was all about how you can now supercharge the heavy
Yeah.
and do further things, and I just really clever marketing in the same way that Overwatch would then do, just showing off the characters where you care about these characters to the point that you kind of want a single player campaign featuring them, but for whatever reason, I never felt that itch for Team Fortress 2. It
No.
just like it was all it's just perfectly set up with its world. Overwatch felt like, why are these characters fighting each other with the way they're setting up their world? Team Fortress 2, no, it made sense. They're in this constant war with each other. Sure, why not?
Yeah, it's interesting we both mentioned Overwatch. I think Overwatch is a great game, but
Mhm.
it really doesn't have a whole lot of innovation. You know, I think everything it did everything it did Team Fortress 2 did. Um, it's the exact same sort of game modes, very similar visual style, very similar gameplay, very similar style. And Overwatch 2 is free to play. They're very similar, and Team Fortress 2 just sort of ran so Overwatch could run alongside it. Like it didn't overtake it. It didn't change the game. It's just kind of another take on it.
Mhm.
But Team Fortress 2 is still played to this day, even after Overwatch has had 2 games, which says a lot for its staying power.
Oh yeah. I don't I can't imagine Team Fortress 2 going away at this point.
No.
It's just always going to be there.
Maybe one day there'll be a Team Fortress 3, but I don't know.
Um, hard to say. And unfortunately, I think a lot of the actors are starting to like. Didn't the actor who played the soldier
Mm,
pass away?
I'm pretty sure that's true, yeah.
Yeah, which
Because
is
he
just
also played,
unfortunate.
Peppy Hair.
Oh, that's right. God, what a legend.
Yeah.
But yeah, Team Fortress 2 at number 3. Classic games that I unfortunately have not played. Unfortunately, it's a lot of PC games. I need to go back and play a lot of PC games, obviously. But it's time for our number 2 PC game of all time, beating out Team Fortress 2 by 235 points. Forgive my math.
Mm. I can't really fathom not having Half-Life 2 or Portal here. I wasn't a World of Warcraft player, so maybe I find it really easy to ditch that one. But I know it's huge, and it still is huge. I'll be sad if Half-Life isn't here. So I'm gonna say Half-Life 2 at number 2.
All right. At number 2, Half-Life 2.
Okay, I'm glad. Which means Portal is probably number 1 unless World of Warcraft made it in. But Half-Life 2, phenomenal. We've talked about it a couple of times already. Uh,
Mhm.
I think it's one of the finest video games ever made, for so many reasons. You know,
Yeah.
it's just a continuous journey. There's load screens, but the entire world is just always moving forward. You're always from a first person perspective. Even the story segments, you never leave that view, and you're going from the beginning of the game to the end of the game, seeing everything through that perspective, which is really clever. But then there's also all the physics stuff they introduce, which I think a lot of games were trying to do in a visual way, but Half-Life found a way to do it in a gameplay way. So you got minor things like picking up a can and putting it in a bin, or putting cylinder blocks on a seesaw to weigh it so you can go across. But then it just goes way beyond that when it comes to the gravity gun. You just pick up anything and use it as a weapon. Uh, and I think that's so Nintendo-y to find a graphical step forward and use it for gameplay. I think that's why a lot of Nintendo fans kind of gravitate to Half-Life 2 and Portal, because it just feels like it's from that wheelhouse. But it still looks gorgeous today, plays
Yeah.
amazingly. It's just one of the best aged games of that era, and something that I think everyone should give a go at some point.
Yeah, I had friends who were super into Half-Life. They were extremely excited about Half-Life 2 coming out. So I was able to pick up the original Half-Life and play through that. And I had a blast. I love the original Half-Life. And so I got Half-Life 2 when it came out, and I blew through that in like a
Mm.
weekend. Like, it was just addictive and cool. There's just something just immediately grabbing about it with you, because you had those sequences like those just regular shooting sequences. You had the gravity's gun sequences. You had the vehicle sequences where you're running away from the
Yeah.
combine and trying to get away. You had the mystery of what the heck was going on, and so forth. And I'll be honest, I forget most of Half-Life's plot at this point.
Combine bad, shoot them.
That's basically all I remember. So you know what? It was very effective in that, but it just there's so many memorable moments of like your initial arrival in, what is it, City 17,
Hmm.
the escape sequence from there, when you get to, what is it, the blood is it Bloodhaven, or what is
Oh,
that scary
Ravenholm?
place, Ravenholm?
Yeah,
That's memorable.
Ravenholm is one of the best video game levels, just like flat out.
Yeah.
The atmosphere is out of control, and the way it incorporates all these traps into physics is remarkable too. 'Cause that's when you get the gravity gun basically for the first time. So you're playing with all these traps, like you get this saw blade, and you can just push it and chop a zombie's body off. It's amazing. Like picking up those saws, just lobbing it at a head crab. Yeah. There's just I forgot about the vehicles until you mentioned them, but those were an amazing thing too. Just going along these huge areas, and they're also physics tied. So if you jump off a ramp or a hill the wrong way, you're gonna knock your bike over. You've got to get out and shoot it with your gravity gun to knock it back over again. Games still aren't made like that.
No. And I think everybody fell in love with Alex. She was just a standout character there, which there wasn't a lot of standout characters outside of Gordon Freeman himself in the
Mm.
original Half-Life, and having that sort of character that sort of grounds you as you go through. I guess the Thin Man, or whatever the heck his name is,
Oh, the G
uh,
Man.
G-Man, I
Yeah.
guess, was another, definitely classic character in that way. But yeah, just a classic. You know what? Put that on Switch 2 as well.
Yeah, people kind of managed it. If you mod Portal on Switch, you can just put in the Half-Life 2 maps and it becomes Half-Life 2.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
But they should
Perfect.
just sell it. They should. It clearly works. Just
Yeah,
do that officially.
makes sense to me. All right, John, it's time for the moment of truth. Beating out Half-Life 2 by 106 points. What is our number one PC game from 2000 to 2009?
So, is it World of Warcraft or is it Portal? I think it's Portal. I think this is Portal.
Going with Portal.
Mm.
At number 1, Portal.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I'm happy with that. I'm sure some people are furious over World of Warcraft
It
erasure.
is weird to think that World of Warcraft did not make the top 10, but I look at this lineup and I can't say that what would I get rid of. Like all of them feel pretty classic to the era.
Mm.
But yeah, Portal's Portal. Portal is
Yeah.
just like it is a phenomenon.
And it's so basic too. You know, it's a game about putting one portal here, one portal there. That is it. Um, and sometimes you press buttons, sometimes you put cubes on switches, and they somehow make one of the most clever video game experiences out of that. They take that one such simple gimmick and evolve it and evolve it and evolve it. And it's just all tied together with really simple visuals. Not much of a story, but one that people latched onto incredibly well. And I think it's all that simplicity that makes Portal remarkable. Because Half Life 2, in all regards, is the bigger game. Portal had to be included with Half Life 2 to even, get a spotlight. But
Yeah.
at the end of the day, Portal overshadowed Half Life 2. I think people know more people have played Portal than they've played Half Life 2.
I think so at this point. It's weird to think a puzzle game overtakes a shooter like that because you think the shooter would be the more universal game of the bunch, but Portal, with its minimalist storytelling, especially as far as its backstory, the whole what was it, Ratman stuff, and there was
Mm.
comics going into detail and all that stuff, and then you just have like I honestly think it is a 50-50 selling point where it's the puzzles themselves and Gladys.
Yeah.
Gladys is just sells that game completely.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I also like how short it is because that
Mhm.
first playthrough might take you a while because some of the puzzles are big head scratchers. But as you become familiar with it, you can breeze through this in an hour, less than that for some people. And it feels good to do that. It feels good just to conquer all
Mhm.
these things that took you a long time to begin with. And it makes Portal really replayable because of how short it can be. Whereas Portal 2, even if you know the game inside and out, that's going to take you a while. There's a lot of story sections to sit through. And Portal 1 has none of that. And one thing I love about Portal as well is half of the game is, you're being tested. And then
Mhm.
the other half is you're breaking out of the tests. So you're going through all these rooms you shouldn't be, and you're crawling through the pipes. You're going through these smoking hot machinery areas that are crushed together. And so you've gone through these very methodical areas where you've got these walls that are made for portal guns, and then you're trying to find them in areas that aren't made for that. And I love that part of the game because it just feels like you're trying to break it in an intended way. But it goes out of its way sometimes to make you feel like you're going out of the boundaries when really that's what you're meant to be doing. But it feels
Right.
really good when you achieve that.
Yeah, it does feel forbidden. Like I wonder how many people just went into the flames when the twist happens,
Yeah, I'm
and didn't
sure I'm
realize
sure a
it's like
bunch of people did.
it's like wait, what am I supposed to do? What do I do?
Mm,
And it's just one of those things. And I believe there were already community levels as a Portal One, right? Like people can make their own and put them out there, and people just can play a bunch of different Portal levels.
yeah,
So it made it very replayable in that way as well.
yeah. Portal 2 made it easier because that had like proper official tools. But yeah, people made a bunch of their own Portal things. Yeah, I mean, I think that this is what sold the Orange Box to a lot of people. People on like 360 and PS3, I think most of them probably bought the Orange Box for Portal and then got Half Life as a bonus and discovered Half Life.
Mhm.
Which is, it's an amazing way to get all this stuff on their radar because that is still one of the best box sets in gaming. Like Portal,
Oh yeah.
Team Fortress, Half Life, the episodes. You get incredible single player, just this epic saga, and then an endless multiplayer game. Nothing's really ever come close to that.
Not really. When you really think about it, break it down, that's probably one of the best values out there, and just absolutely sold Portal to the point that Portal 2 is definitely its own standalone game. It didn't
Oh
need to be
yeah.
bundled with anything.
Yeah, totally.
Um,
And this one is on the Switch. You can play it.
yep.
Portal 2's got a weird glitch where I think its online leaderboards don't work on the Switch 2 right now. So you've got to boot the
Mm,
game up in airplane mode to make it work.
so
But Portal
weird.
1's fine. Yeah,
Um, and just in case anybody's wondering, Portal 2 did not come out until 2011.
that's right. Mm.
So it is not in contention for this list. But yeah, there is our top 10, John. What do you think? How do you feel about this top 10?
I'm pretty happy with this. I think World of Warcraft is the only like really big important one that wasn't there. But I had friends who played it. I didn't play it personally, so I don't feel personally attacked.
I played it through a friend's account, tried it out for a little bit, didn't click with me, but it really was a cultural phenomenon.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it was there were MMOs before it, but this was and kind of still is the MMO.
Yeah, it definitely took up the baton from what is it? Shoot, I forget the original one. The Sony one that was always the big MMO, EverQuest.
EverQuest, yeah.
That was it. Never played EverQuest, but definitely picked up that baton from EverQuest and just ran with it to the point that it's still going. There's two versions of World of Warcraft right now, like running right now.
Mhm.
And
But
I think the only real,
FF14 is probably bigger now.
I think 14 has overtaken it by this point. I'm not
Mm.
100% sure on that one, but it's interesting to see just how long it lasted.
Yeah.
Because EverQuest, and when you compare it, EverQuest did not last as long as World of Warcraft.
No,
At
no.
all. But yeah, let's go ahead and break down the rest of the top 50 as we typically do to see where World of Warcraft did end up. At number 11, 7 points behind Left 4 Dead 2, The Sims, just the very first.
Yeah.
And pretty much everything we said about Sims 2 applies to this one. I think there's just more or a little bit more refined.
Yeah,
I
but
don't know the differences, honestly.
there's a lot of charming stuff in The Sims 1. I love the music. There's a lot more 2D elements, and there's a charm to that, like the fire being all 2D. It's a more basic Sims 2, but I think that there's a lot of nostalgia in this one.
For sure. At number 12 with 180 points, so basically 48 away from hitting that top 10, World of Warcraft.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I can't speak to it really. I know of
Yeah.
its legacy, but I can't argue for the quality there.
Yeah. It was huge. I mean, it got an entire South Park episode
Yeah,
dedicated around it. That's people were talking about it. It was a massive thing. There was a lot of people in college that played it. I feel bad for him, but it's also like it's the way it goes sometimes.
yeah. I mean, Blizzard got Diablo 2 in there at least.
Yeah, got that. At number 13, only 2 points behind this, Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind.
I was wondering if Morrowind or Oblivion would make it here. Yeah, Morrowind is the more PC feeling game.
Mhm.
But yeah, I think the stuff ahead of it, I would also probably place ahead of Morrowind. So I can't argue.
Yeah. At number 14, 5 points behind World of Warcraft, Warcraft 3 Reign of Chaos.
I have played this one.
I have not played StarCraft or Warcraft. I need to change that, but man.
Yeah, I think likewise. I think yeah, this is a good place for it. I love most of what's in the top 10.
Mm-hmm. At number 15, this is my childhood, Command and Conquer Red Alert 2.
Oh, here we go. Yeah,
I love Red Alert 2. So much fun.
Yeah, the vibe in this one's unmatched.
Mm-hmm. Would love to see it in top 10. I'm not upset it's not in the top 10. Top 15, that makes me happy. Give it a little bit of love. At number 16, only 2 points behind Red Alert 2, The Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion.
Yeah. You know, this I think this is still a really beautiful game. Like compare it to the remake, and there's just this vibrancy of green to the whole world. That I kind of prefer. I kind of prefer how this looks compared to the remake.
That's fair. I've not played a ton of it. The only real experience I have with Oblivion is watching Peanut Butter Gamer do special videos on it, like trying to collect certain things, and it looked fun. But when I played it myself, I'm like, it's not for me. I'm definitely more of a JRPG guy.
It's a comedy. It's a comedy game. Just watching the NPCs be the funniest people in the world.
Oh, there you go. At number 17, Roller Coaster Tycoon 2.
Yeah. I kind of forgot this was the 2000s.
Yeah. The original, I believe, made it to the top 10 of the 90s
It
PC
did,
games,
yeah.
but sequel couldn't quite make it there, but I'm sure it's still just as good, just as much fun for everybody.
Yeah.
At number 18, Civilization 4.
I'm less familiar with Civ 4. I know this is a fan favorite. I've only played the original couple of Civs.
I've only played one of the later Civs. I think
Mm.
like 5 and 6. I remember my friends talking about 4 a lot. I think this was the last game before they went to the hexagonal display.
Right. Yeah.
But it was sort of like the best of those classic versions. I think we'll see. Tied at number 19, Roller Coaster Tycoon 3. And now you have to, maybe I should have asked you about this, but I ended up deciding to combine Counter-Strike and Counter-Strike Source together because as far as I could tell, they're the same game, just one's graphically improved.
Kinda, yeah. It's tricky because they are mechanically different. They've got some different maps. I think diehard Counter-Strike fans would see them as different games.
And if that was the case, they'd both be much farther down. They would not be in the top 20.
Yeah. Yeah, I think give it to Counter-Strike. It deserves to be pretty high up.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things that would definitely. I think that at least one of them would have made the top 50. I don't think both. I can't remember offhand, but again, it's 148 points split between 2 games. So, and our number 50 game is at 54 points, so it might have been able to make it, both of them, but it'd be close. They would not be nearly this high. All I know is that my friends were addicted to the original Counter-Strike. Didn't hear much about Source. Yeah, tied for number 20, Counter-Strike and in Source. So apologies if that's not correct, but I did my best with my unfamiliarity and trying to look into things. It's like it seems mostly the same, but either way, number 21, Gary's Mod.
Oh, this is a funny one because it is kind of a game, but it's also pretty much a sandbox for Half-Life 2 assets. But I played this a lot with friends. We'll just roam around, just hang out together on custom maps, Half-Life 2 maps. We made some little machinimas out of it too, because there's a pretty good film tool in there. We can animate the characters, move their mouths around. I think without Gary's mod, some people probably wouldn't have gone into that kind of field of understanding game development and animation and things, because it's great just to get a peek behind the curtain, all that stuff.
Yeah, I what is the brother of Gordon Freeman, John Freeman, or something that classic
Half-Life Full Life Consequences.
That's it, Half-Life Full Life Consequences. That's my only familiarity with Gary's mod. Just what people could do with that, but it was also, apparently still around too, because I should have known this, but Super Danky Awesome Unicorn Guy, Gmod Birth Skibidi Toilet. It's still.
That's true. Yeah, that's technically Valve property because they use it's a Half-Life model that they use in that.
Oh no. All right. Number 22, The Sims 3.
Okay, yeah.
It's Sims.
I always thought it was a bit worse than The Sims 2.
That's what I've generally heard is that it doesn't have as much as Sims 2 had. It took a lot of the expansions to get to where 2 was.
Yeah.
At 23, Baldur's Gate 2.
I mean, yeah, this was fantastic. This might be one that I could argue should be higher, but there's too much else there to really argue it.
Yeah, it's not like there's anything like bad that I would replace it with. 24, Age of Mythology.
Okay, I haven't played this one. I was very much Age of Empires.
I actually recently played this one. Adding the god effects in there is it's definitely Age of Empires, but then you have some god effects that change how you handle certain things and have those special units and a lot more hero units. It's interesting. It was an entertaining time.
Yeah.
For sure. At number 25, John, this one's for you, Peggle.
Yeah, Peggle. I wasn't sure if it'd make it. I think Plants vs Zombies rightfully deserves it as the PopCap game, but Peggle's so addictive.
Weirdly so, considering you don't do a whole lot in it.
No, just got to hit all those balls.
Yep. At 26, RuneScape.
Yeah, I mean, this was another huge one. My friends were very into it. Another one that I wasn't so much into, but it was just a free browser MMO.
Yeah, I remember checking out a little bit, not really clicking with it, but I remember people talking about it. It's like, okay, this is neat.
Yeah.
At 27, Mirror's Edge.
Oh man, yeah. This, I mean, I was tempted to vote for it on the consoles. I think I did vote for it on PC actually. It's such a cool game. Maybe it doesn't reach its full potential, but it is aged incredibly well visually, and that first person parkour system's just fantastic. I think they probably could have ironed out the game to rely more on that rather than like a lot of the combat stuff and all that. But Mirror's Edge is just so unique, and I really want more like it.
I wish they'd been able to do a sequel more immediately so they could iron out.
It's kind of too late when the next one came out, and it didn't hit as hard as the first one.
No, I rented it, really did enjoy it, but it's one of those that's like it's good, but not quite reaching the potential that it has.
Yeah.
So, number 28, Spore. I remember picking this game up thinking like, okay, I've not been into these other like sim games. Spore looks interesting, and then I got so bored so quick.
I didn't stick around with Spore much either. It was big at the time though. Just sort of making your own little creatures.
That was definitely the best part, is making your creature.
Yeah. Likewise, didn't stick around with Spore.
Nope. At 29, Final Fantasy XI Online.
This is like the only Final Fantasy I've not played.
I remember being very excited for it. Happy I had an up-to-date PC. Picked it up. Got the subscription, and had no idea. Like, could not figure it out. Like, it was like felt so complicated. I looking back, I was like, I don't think I found a single quest. I was just going around and beating up monsters to try to level up, and thinking that was the only thing I really had to do. And then it also had the dreaded, I finally got my level. I died. You lost your level because you lose experience when you die in that game. That's
not to pitch video ideas in the middle of a video, but as a FF14 player, I'd love a video of you looking back at FF11 and like how accessible it is now that you've played a lot of 14.
I mean, it's still going. That's the crazy thing. It's still being supported. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Actually, excuse me. It was actually a tie at 29. Tied with it, Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic.
Yeah, I mean, another huge one. We talked about this on the Xbox list already, I believe.
Yes, we did. And just, it's a classic. Number 31, Zoo Tycoon.
Yep. I didn't play a whole lot of Zoo Tycoon, but I had a friend who was very into it. And they had a very impressive zoo.
Yeah, you can't. I don't think you can get as wild unless you're able to like unleash the animals on each other and have like it's time for the lions to fight the hippos or something like that. I have no idea.
That's the thing with a lot of these PC games. There's always a friend. There's always a friend who was really into it because it was so scattered. There's always someone who was into something, and it's usually not us.
Yep, that feels like the case. Another case in point: Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines.
I was into this one.
You were into this one.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. I really like this. I haven't actually followed up closely with the sequel.
It's probably a good thing because that thing's been taking forever to come out.
Yeah, but I really enjoyed this. I remember that there's one like haunted house that I remember very vividly. Because it's basically an open world RPG where you can make your own vampire and think like Oblivion with vampires, I guess. And there's this one haunted house you can go into, and it's legit creepy. Like you walk up the stairs and like a photo frame tilts around. It's just very, very structured for what is quite a loose game, and that hit really hard. I loved Vampire. Yeah.
Nice. At 33, The Legend of Heroes: Trails in the Sky, second chapter.
Big gap for me. Haven't played a single
Same.
Trails game.
I'm excited for the remake coming out.
I'm gonna start there. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to try that out too. And apparently, first chapter just pretty much goes right into second chapter.
Mm.
So there you go. At 34, we have a tie between BioShock and Rome Total War, which ended up becoming one of Sega's biggest selling franchises, even though I only touched it once and be like, this is way too complicated for me, and never touched it again.
Yeah. I mean, we've talked about BioShock already as well, and it's excellent on PC. I had Rome Total War. I think this was my first Total War game. I just kind of wanted to learn about the series, and I enjoyed it. But I think, like you, a bit too complex. I liked seeing how large scale it was, and I tried playing a few levels, but I definitely wasn't the sort of person that sunk 100 hours into it, though.
No, certainly not. At 36, Dragon Age Origins.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
no matter
people love
what
this
else
one.
can you say? It's phenomenal.
Yeah, very much so. 37, Zoo Tycoon 2.
I'm sure that zoo was even bigger.
I'm sure it was. 38, Max Payne.
I was thinking about guessing this one of the top 10 slots, actually, but I thought it probably wouldn't make it. But
I had a friend who was really into this one.
yeah, and it's very much a PC game as well. The Xbox version's good, but that mouse, it just adds everything to it 'cause it's quite a fast game. So when you go into like those slow-mo points, just being able to very quickly aim, it doesn't feel right with a controller. It's kind of made for that mouse.
It's kind of one of the, also, like, in retrospect, one of the few games to successfully pull off the bullet time from
Yeah,
Matrix, because it was just huge at that time. Like, Matrix was
yeah.
everywhere. So first game to really take advantage of it. All the others never quite reached the same level, it feels, as Max
No,
Payne.
no, there's just the coolness about this one. And yeah, PC's definitely the place to play it.
Yep. At 39, The Legend of Heroes: Trails in the Sky, first chapter.
I'm sure it's good too.
looking forward to checking that out. At 40, Neverwinter Nights.
Another gap for me. And I didn't know a friend who played it either.
I had another friend. I had friends that were really into the original Baldur's Gate, so
Mm.
Neverwinter Nights was another thing for it. Although I didn't realize Neverwinter Nights was also D&D. I don't know. I missed it. I somehow just right over my head. But I remember them talking about it. I don't know what the differences are, but I did hear about this one. At 42, no, excuse me, 41, The Orange Box. Which is just kind of
All
funny.
right. Yeah, I guess that's just we're ranking a bundle there.
Yeah, it is kind of funny that the bundle did less than the individual games.
It is, yeah. I think you see them as individual games on PC, whereas on console, you look at it as that box does. You know, it is a box.
Yeah, I think that's a best way to put it. At 42, the original Left 4 Dead.
Yeah, it's just less of Left 4 Dead 2. And Left 4 Dead 2 has all of Left 4 Dead 1's levels in it.
That's true.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot to stick around with Left 4 Dead 1 for. There's a few unique things, but not much.
43, tied at 43, excuse me. Fallout 3 and Thief 2: The Metal Age.
Oh, okay. I thought Thief might get a bit higher as well. Fallout 3 is interesting. Because it's so far behind the Elder Scrolls games. But
yeah, I guess, did more people play Fallout on console?
Maybe because it's such a PC rooted series though with Fallout 1 and 2.
I had a friend who played it on PC, but I played it on console, but even though I never beat it, but I don't know. It's just one of those things.
Yeah. Personally, I preferred Elder Scrolls in this era. But New Vegas is awesome though.
Yeah, that is true. And I've always heard good things about Thief. Never played the games, but there we go. At 45, Halo, because they did get a PC port.
Halo 1 on PC was cool. It had online, which Xbox didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Xbox was just LAN and split screen, whereas this one had full on GameSpy lobbies. So I played this quite a lot.
Oh god, GameSpy, that brings me back. Oh god. At 46, tied at 46, Grand Theft Auto San Andreas and Stalker Shadow of Chernobyl.
Yeah, I mean, both great. Stalker's fantastic too. This got released on the Switch last year. Shadow
Oh, okay.
Chernobyl, Call of whatever it is. There's three of them.
Is
And
it Crispiat? I think I've seen
mm,
something like that. I don't know. But
yeah, yeah. A friend and I were really into Stalker. We sort of played this side by side. Yeah, it's really deep, very beautiful for the time as well. Very difficult too. I recommend trying it on Switch if you get the chance because it's very good there.
a Super Dink Awesome Unicorn guy says does not play great on Switch.
Well,
So
it
maybe
plays great on
Switch 2.
Switch too, at the very least.
Note that down for comparison.
Yeah, that's a good point. We should. Yeah, you're right. On the Switch one, it does get a bit jaggedy, but yeah, Switch two irons that out nicely.
Yeah. At 48, The Legend of Heroes Trails in the Sky the third. So
Yep. All right.
there you are. At 49, Grand Theft Auto Vice City.
Mm.
And at number 50, World of Goo.
Oh yeah, World of Goo was a PC game. True.
Yeah, came out there.
Hmm.
So there we are. So that's our top 50 PC games as well as Flash games. And I'd say on the whole seems like a pretty good list.
Yeah,
All
I'm happy
all
with
those.
most of that. I can't think of like a crucially missing game. And I'm glad some games like Sonic Heroes didn't show their head again because they keep showing up when they can.
Yeah, no, it's happened as often. So there is that at least. But yeah, that is our list. I hope you all enjoyed looking through all those, seeing what we got. Next time we are going to be a bit more consistent for a little bit because with kids out of school and Kai having classes in July, we'll be able to record this a bit more consistently again. So next week, can look forward to our discussion on the top 10 Gen 7 multi-platform games of all time.
Mm.
So should be interesting to see what made the list since PS3 and Wii were all console exclusives. 360 not so much, and the ones that made the 360 list will not be counted towards this multi-platform list. Just as a heads up. So yeah, thank you all so much for being here. Really do appreciate it, and just I love doing these. I'm glad people are still enjoying watching these. How many freaking of these have we done so far, John? It's been so many.
I don't even know.
I've lost track. Oh, there's still so many to go. We haven't even reached the 3DS and Vita and Wii U and all that. We're getting there. We're getting there.
They don't feel that long ago. It feels like 3DS and Vita they came out yesterday, and yet we have still a lot of things to do.
Yep. We've been doing this since the beginning of the year, and we're more than halfway through the year. So
Yeah.
good God.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing to GVG, hitting the like button and ringing that bell. We also have a Patreon at patreon.com/GVGaming with plenty of extra perks. So until next time, bye.